First guest for 2013, please make him welcome. Jobe Watson, everybody. Great to have you on, Nick. Great to have you on.
So, what's news? Anything interesting going on in your world at the moment, Joe?
Not much for me.
Not quite, is it?
Yeah.
You've kept a low profile over summer, the club, no doubt about that. Actually, we should introduce you to Nerily. Have you met Nerily before, our new panellist?
Yeah, Nerily and I have bumped into each other a few times in the Essendon car park. So,
In her role
the microphone actually is probably the only thing that's still there with you.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that, to be honest.
So Nerly's been one of many reporters.
Yes, not just you.
What a game it was. I mean, you would have been, really revved up to, as everybody is round one, but did you see that resilient a performance coming, particularly given the flow of the game? Early doors,
This is it.
Yeah, I think...
It's the match-winning goal. Just have a look at your reaction.
There's a little bit.
I mean, how much man love's going on there?
What a strike.
Look at that.
It's a little embarrassing, isn't it?
I will say, though, barring Crows fans, I think everyone loved that particular moment. It was great.
Yeah.
With last night, did James Hird bring up the off-season dramas pre-match?
Yeah, he touched on it, and also as a playing group, we touched on it. I think that we found that the most relieving part of the last 6 weeks has been when we've been with each other, and we talked about the fact that everyone has been able to stand together, and no one's pointed the finger at each other, and no one said, "No, this is too hard. I'm not coming into the club today." And if we could get through something like that we have, then a game of footy doesn't seem too bad.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you about your leadership, because all the captains got together the other week and they were all talking about how well you've handled this situation, because you don't know how well you'll handle it until you're faced with it. Have you found it challenging? Are you impressed with yourself, I guess?
Yeah, I tap myself on the back. Look, I'm lucky that the club has really stuck together, and that's made it a lot easier. And with David Evans and Ian Robson and Hurdy, and the easiest thing you can do in this kind of situation is start pointing fingers at each other and looking for easy outs, and the blame game is an easy out for everyone. But to the credit of everyone associated with the club and the fans, we've stuck together and we've stuck fat.
It was the season opener, and it was a great game. It nearly didn't get underway because there was a snafu at the start that you would have been aware of. Where they normally have the coin toss, there was no coin. It's not like you've got to organise a lot to start a game of football, but here's how it went down.
Roger.
Put your hands behind your back and move the whistle around, and then choose a hand, left or right.
Out of coins.
Your call.
It has been a tough summer, Bruce.
I don't know what they did with the coin. I think they gave it to Sydney. I'm not sure.
What was the story there? So that was the whistle behind the back.
Yeah.
And she could have cheated.
What was the likeliness of the Adelaide person doing the right thing by me?
Absolutely 0%, I would have thought. You've been completely chipped.
Yeah.
Just in case you missed the footy last night and you haven't read the papers today, we'll refresh you about the scoreline. This is how it went down. Adelaide jumped Essendon early, but from about the 15-minute mark of the first quarter, it was a really encouraging performance by the Bombers, Nerily.
Yeah, Adelaide came out, kicked the first three, and then enter Ben Howlett. How good is he going? He was the leading tackle winner in last year's season for Essendon, and then he's come out and kicked 4 goals. So he's putting the cherry on top of all that hard work that he's certainly been doing. Essendon came out, kicked 8 of the next 9 after that opening, and then the final siren, all the elation, the relief, as Jobe spoke about after the game, and you can see here James Hird, just a relieved man. We've been out there a lot, obviously, as Jobe mentioned, in the car parks this pre-season, and to see a smile on James Hird's face from an outsider has been a really rare thing. So, I mean, it must have been nice for you to see your coach and be able to do that for him.
Yeah, Hurdy's obviously had a lot of strain on him, and a lot of people at the club have, and to see the smiles on people's faces and the relief, and I suppose it was just going back to doing what we love, and that's play footy.
Now, I think your coach gave the group a massive compliment after the game. I'm not so sure, though. Listen very carefully here.
The level of training and the standard of training that the Essendon players have been able to produce through this investigation has been at an elite level. It's surprised me.
How much have you stepped it up from normal?
Hey, one thing I heard him today talk about the win and the significance of the way you got the win done. And one thing he talked about was the fact that when you were those 3 or 4 goals down early, there was a 50-minute period from that point forth where you only allowed Adelaide to score 10 points. And defensively has challenged the group to be better this year. Significantly, how significant was that, do you think, from a sort of creating a template for what's going to go forward this season?
Yeah, it's something that we've worked pretty hard on over Christmas, and I think the challenge for us is to be able to do that repeatedly. And you look at the Swans, they finish in the top 4 consistently for points conceded, and I think the best we've finished is 12th over the last 10 years. So it was.
You've been the worst.
Yeah, we've been the worst. We have been the worst in the last 10 years. So it was nice to do that for one game. The challenge for our group is to do it for 22 weeks.
Yep.
Jobe, I'd love to ask you about the slide rule because it's obviously new. How did you guys take it last night? Because we saw the first one. It was Aaron Davey got a great, easy shot on goal, I guess, with Brent Riley coming in there. Now, it was the correct decision with the way that the rule is. But do you find it confusing? Because this was a huge moment for you guys.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually remember being around some contests and thinking that if I wasn't the first person or closest to the ball, I actually had to stay away. And that is not a natural thing for a player to do. And look, I think the right thing is to try and protect the lower limb injuries because they're so severe. But it is a change in the mindset of players. And it's something that is difficult to try and change that behaviour.
You're going to have to stay standing up. You just can't jump on the ball anymore.
Yeah, and a lot of the times in the game, it's based on instinct, and the ball is in that 50-50 sort of zone, and it's a really tough decision that you have to now make.
Because you're taught your whole life as a kid to go in and get the ball. That's the whole your instruction from when you first start playing football is go and get the ball.
Yeah. I think they do have to stamp out the slide tackle, though. It was getting out of hand. I think this is the one that clinched it. This is from Geelong. This is Chapman. It's dangerous stuff. It's danger to himself in the game. We've got to stamp that out.
Great.
It's my true wish. Just I take
There's actually a little bit more to that clip, but we can't show it to you in this time slot.
Can you believe
the phone has been ringing off the hook from Hollywood agents.
Can you believe the stuff that you concede to doing in your role as an AFL captain?
All for the good of the game.
all the captains, all the most respected figures at each individual club, all reputations in tatters after that. But your reputation is always a little bit. When you lock eyes on someone, it's great to watch. I want to take you back to an Essendon function recently. Let's have a look at this and just where you. Oh yeah. Well, that was a number of years ago, but we never get sick of playing that.
It gets worse every time.
Some bits of vision you never ever get sick of seeing. Every time you agree to come on this show, I think we must have it written into your contract that we're okay to play that with you.
To this day, I don't know where my eyes were looking, but I swear they weren't looking at her.
I feel a little bit sad that I missed out on that in the car park.
Maybe we should leave Jobe and Nerily alone. Anyway, we might just move on with the show.